Oh my gosh.
How do you know that's working?
I don't. I'm just going by faith. Well, hello everyone. It's been a minute.
Yes, it has.
So we've been away, and I've been away for a little while. I've been out and about from the country, and haven't had time to record any podcasts. So that's why it's been I don't know how long it's been, like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was away for 2 months,
Oh,
but
wait.
even more than that. But it's good to be back here, and
Welcome back.
thank you. And where I went was basically up north to Europe for a little bit, working there. And something that I discovered, well, I already knew this before, but just sort of reinforced it when I went back there, is how little people know about Madagascar. Like very, very little. Everyone just knows the movies, which is, I guess, props to the Madagascar movie because it did put our name on the map, but people don't really know anything about it. You've been abroad as well. Did you find the same thing? People...
Yes, exactly. I don't know for now, but back then they didn't know much.
Yeah. They don't even know where it is on the map, basically. Today, we're going to be talking just about Madagascar, and for a very special reason as well, because this week there is a very special holiday that's happening here in Madagascar. What is it?
Yes,
Anita?
we're talking about Madagascar's Independence Day, or what we call the Fête Pyrénéenne.
Fête Pyrénéenne.
Yes.
So as part of all of that, we're going to be giving you some top 10 really fun facts about Madagascar that you probably didn't know. But before we give you those top 10 fun facts, we're going to give you some extra little facts about Madagascar that are just more, basic, that we feel like everyone should know a little bit about Madagascar, right? So a lot of countries nowadays, they celebrate Independence Day from Britain. Like, because obviously the Brits, they were like the biggest
Large.
empire ever. We're one of the few that were not colonized by Britain. We were colonized by the French. And so we're celebrating independence from the French Empire. And that's also why in Madagascar, French is a second language. Yeah.
That's true. And Madagascar gained its independence from France on June 26, 1960. So that's nearly 70 years of colonial rule. And today, June 26th is celebrated as Independence Day with parades, speeches, concerts, and fireworks. Yeah. Not very much, but some fireworks.
Some fireworks. Okay, but let's talk about something else real quick here, because last night I was home and out of nowhere I just hear gunshots. It's like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the heck is happening?
Gunshots.
We're filming this on, when is this? Like the 23rd? So it's the week of Independence Day. And I'm just hearing gunshots. I'm like, what the hell is happening out there? So then I text these guys and I'm like, hey, why is there gunshots out my freaking house? They're not gunshots.
So
what are
yeah,
they?
for your info, that's just firecrackers. Every time people are like about to celebrate Independence Day, before that, little kids, even young adults, they all play with firecrackers, not fireworks.
Yeah, this is like the loudest firecrackers I've ever heard.
Really?
They're so loud.
Probably because it was just next to your house.
Yeah, the kids love playing right next to my house for whatever reason. But yeah, definitely a lot of firecrackers.
And lots of lasers. Yeah.
Yeah, lasers. You know what's so crazy though? My friend is so funny. He sent me this video on Instagram.
Yeah.
About how in Taranarive, like there's just people pointing lasers up in the sky, and it's really dangerous for the planes that are flying past.
It should actually be banned, but
they
I don't
can't.
know.
Yeah, it's so funny because he was asking, why do you guys do this? Is it a prank? I'm like, no, it's Independence Day. And why are they green? Is this always green lasers?
I'm not really sure. Probably that's what's in the market.
Right, what's in the market is green.
That's the only answer I have.
So why don't we talk about some basic facts about Madagascar? So in Madagascar, obviously in English we say Madagascar, but how do we say it in Malagasy?
It's Madagascar. Like
Madagascar.
it becomes a K, Cascar.
Yeah, Madagascar. That's right. And this is where it gets a little tricky for people out there, because Madagascar, you might assume that we're called Madagascans.
I always laugh about that.
Madagascans, yeah. But it's actually Malagasy. And even in English, it's Malagasy. And our language is also called Malagasy.
I've even heard people say Madagascarians.
Madagascarians, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Fair.
If you think about, for example, the vanilla, they call it, what do they call it abroad?
Madagascar and vanilla.
Madagascar vanilla. But I think it's just because people don't know Malagasy is the right term. But we're going to change that, hopefully, a little bit for some of you.
Malagasy.
Malagasy.
Guys, take note.
Take note. And then Madagascar is also located on the eastern side of the African coast, right? So if you look at the world map, it's that big island right next to Africa. And it's much bigger than people might assume. But we'll talk about that later. What about the people, Anita?
Okay, so in terms of what people here look like, well, we're unique in the world because we are the result of a blend of African and Austronesian, that is Southern Asian ancestry.
That's right.
So this is kind of a mix between the first settlers who arrived here, Southeast Asia, likely Indonesian, Borneo, and they came here by boat about 1,500 years ago, followed by African migrations from mainland. And so as a result, Malagasy culture, language, and even food reflect both Asian and African roots.
That's right. I like to tell people that we're Blasian.
Blasian.
Blasian. But a very real mix of Blasian, like over hundreds and hundreds of years.
And usually when we get out of the country, they like think we're Asians somehow.
Yeah, Asians, yeah.
Yeah.
But I know we also have cousins and people we know that look more like African, traditional African, yeah. But then we have cousins who are like so light-skinned.
Yeah,
And
so it's really mixed.
it's a huge mix. It's a huge mix. Malagasy, we're divided also into 18 official ethnic groups, or I guess we could say tribes. What's tribes in Malagasy? Is there a word for...
Fuk.
Fuk.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we all have our different custom dialects and traditions. And some of the largest and most well-known, we'll talk about 4 of them. The first one, Mern. Me and Anita, we're from the Merna tribe. Most of our family are.
I guess.
Yeah. I think we are. And then we live mainly in the Central Highlands, including where we live now, which is Antananarivo, the capital of Madagascar. Some other groups, some other tribes include the Betsmasarak.
Betsimsak.
Betsimsarak. I still need to learn how to like emphasize the right word sometimes. Betsimsarak. They live along the east coast. We have the Betsleo, which is like the southern part of the island, and Sakalav. Sakalav, that's right, in the western Madagascar. And there's a lot more as well.
Yeah, and in the future we'll definitely just deep dive into that.
Oh yeah,
because there's so many different tribes and their customs. Because it's fascinating.
I would love to learn more about it. Honestly, yeah. I always feel like when I go abroad and people ask me about Madagascar, I'm always like, well, we have lemurs.
That's the most.
That's about it.
Fact.
Yeah, I need to learn more. Did you grow up? You learned Malagasy history?
No.
Oh, okay. You went to international
Never.
school, right?
Yes.
So maybe we need to get an expert in here.
I'm still trying to go through that.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So we did the basics. Now let's do some fun facts about Madagascar. We got 10 fun facts for you guys. Anita, what's our first one?
All right. So everyone knows Madagascar is home to King Julian. Madagascar is the only place on Earth where you find wild lemurs and over 100 unique species of them. Yeah, so if Madagascar were to have a mascot, it would be the lemur, of course. From the tiny mouse lemur to the large and loud indri. Lemurs are considered sacred in some parts of the island. Some locals believe that they represent ancestral spirits, so harming them is often taboo.
What are lemurs in Malagasy? What are this? Maki.
Lemur.
Lemur, that's French.
Maki.
I think it's maki.
Maki, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I never realized that. I always use lemur.
The French.
Yeah.
Huh, yeah. Number 2. Talking about animals, we're going to talk a lot about animals and plants because Madagascar is a very special island in terms of biodiversity. Around 90% of Madagascar's animal and plant species are found nowhere else, meaning they're endemic to the island. Endemic to the island. And this includes somewhat strange-looking creatures like the ai, a lemur with a very long Buki, middle finger, used to hunt insects. There's so much to discover in Madagascar. I'm pretty sure like if you went out into a rainforest, I'm sure there's a cure for like every disease out there. Probably.
We're gonna try them one by one.
Yeah, one by one. See what kills you, see what heals you.
Yeah, and talking about unique, Madagascar is also home to some of the coolest trees you'll ever see. Yeah, so there's the famous baobab tree. It looks like they're growing upside down with thick trunks and sparse branches that resemble roots.
Yeah.
And these giants can live more than 1,000 years.
That's crazy.
And they store thousands of liters of water to survive dry seasons.
Yeah.
And one of the most popular tourist spots is the standing avenue of the baobabs. It is lined with these ancient trees. Have you
ever
been there?
I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah. No, I haven't been there yet.
I haven't either. It's in
unfortunately.
Muruntav, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it only located
Madav.
in one place? I didn't even check yet.
The avenue, it's the
It's one
most popular
specific
one.
place.
Yeah, one specific place. But there are also places with baobabs, but
You're
it
right.
doesn't really look like the avenue.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Definitely on my bucket list of places to go. We were almost gonna go there, but then we ended up going to Majinka instead.
Almost.
I was with my cousins, and I was like, "Can you see the baobab trees?" And they're like, "No, the beach." I was like, "Okay, fine, the beach."
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Majinga has lots of baobabs as well, but they're smaller.
they're smaller.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see them. Hopefully, we'll get to see them soon.
There's a very fat one just near the... Where is that? It's really where people go out at night.
Oh, that really huge,
Yeah.
big, fat. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks slightly different from the
That's
baobabs
baobab.
I've
I
discovered.
think that's the fattest baobab
The
here.
fattest baobab ever.
Yeah.
We're gonna say plus sized. Thank you.
Plus size.
Plus size baobab.
Okay, sorry.
We're being
No offense,
Tree
baobab.
positive here. Talking about big though, Madagascar is the fourth biggest island in the world. Covers over 587,000 square kilometers. Now you have to understand how big that means. It's bigger than countries like Germany or Japan, right? And I know sometimes if you look on the map, the map that we usually look at sort of misconstrues all the sizes.
Size.
Like Africa
I
is
know, right?
massive compared to Europe, but you don't really see that because the map sort of distorts that. But Madagascar is pretty large, the fourth largest island, obviously larger than the UK as well. And our population stands at 31 million people, which is crazy to me. There's 31 million people on this island.
Yeah.
Most
But-
of them are here in Antananarivo, contributing to the traffic jam that happens here every day. I find it funny that 98% of the people I meet abroad, though, they've never met a Malagasy person. I'm always the first person they ever meet.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
98%. Like, oh, I never met anyone from Madagascar before. It's usually what I hear. every
Most
time.
Malagasys are in France. When you go in France,
That's
you'll
true.
find them everywhere.
France. I don't really go to France, so that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to the English-speaking parts of the world most of the time, so that's why I guess they're like.
I
never met-
see.
Yeah, but despite its size, Madagascar has yet to be explored completely. And like I said, there's so much land to discover, so much cool biological things to see. So yeah, I definitely want to explore it more when I have the time at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, another thing, if you're a fan of vanilla or you buy it regularly, there's likely a high chance you've unknowingly bought Malagasy vanilla.
Madagascan vanilla.
Yeah, Madagascar vanilla. That's because Madagascar produces about 80% of the world's vanilla. It's really good. And making it the #1 exporter globally. Growing vanilla is a slow and delicate process. It requires the perfect environmental factors, and it is done by hand pollinating each flower, which is why real vanilla is so expensive.
Yeah.
And many farmers rely on the green gold as their main source of income.
Let's talk about our language for a second. Like I said earlier, French is one of our official languages, but our native tongue is called Malagasy. And there are a lot of different dialects. Obviously, we have 18 tribes. The island is very big. Everyone's going to come up with their own little dialects, but the official language is still called Malagasy. And just like how our ethnicity is sort of mixed with Austronesian and African roots, so is the language. But it's mostly closely related to like Indonesian and Malaysian languages. However, we have a lot of words that are borrowed from different countries. different regions. For example, we have a lot of borrowed vocabulary from obviously French that have become Malagasified. But also Arabic, the days of the week, we also say salam, which is very, Arabic. And then obviously Bantu languages from the mainland, Mother Africa. And nowadays also English. English is also, we use a lot of borrowed words from English that we've turned into Malagasy in a way. My favorite is the word kill.
Kill, which means...
Wait, tiskillati chunchti. I heard that,
like,
right?
There's no client, no one wants it.
Yeah. I think that's from English. They sort of borrowed it, right?
I'm not really sure.
You know when a product kills, like it's selling so much, it's killing. We say that in English. And so if it's tiskill, there's no kill.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, that's what. Well, that's what immediately.
Makes sense.
My English brain thought of that immediately. It's like when something is selling a lot, it's killing. But then when it's not, we say it's not killing, so tiskill.
Nice interpretation.
Yeah, that's my interpretation. Yeah. Right.
Okay, now let's talk about sport. Here we have what we call mureng. It's a traditional bare fist fighting sport that blends martial arts with the rhythm and performance. Yeah, I've seen one when I was in Majinga last time.
Oh, cool.
And yes, the matches are usually held in villages with a whole community gathering and just watch and cheer. Like, it's really loud. And it's not just a fight, it's a cultural event of music, dancing, and celebration. Yeah, Malagasy people like celebrating everything.
Yeah, make life fun when you can. Have you ever taken martial arts? Ever?
No.
Self-defense?
And I'm not planning to.
What about self-defense? I think
should.
If I had a daughter, I would definitely make sure they take self-defense lessons.
Okay.
At the very least. Makes you feel better.
I'm naturally good at it.
Okay, naturally, sure. All right, now back to the wonderful natural world we have here in Madagascar. Madagascar is home to nearly half of all the world's chameleon species, about 150 types, including the incredible Bruchezia nana, the smallest reptile ever found, which apparently is small enough to sit on a match head.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting reptiles out here in Madagascar. But let's talk about another cultural thing we do here.
Okay, so this is one of the most popular ones as well. It's a very fascinating Malagasy tradition, which is called famadian, or if we just literally translate it, throwing of the bones. Families remove the remains of their ancestors from the family tombs and they wrap them in fresh cloth and then dance and celebrate with music. Like, it's a really huge celebration. And it's a joyful way of remembering the loved ones and staying like spiritually connected to the family's past.
Right, yeah. I think it's a cool tradition. The first time I heard of it, I think it was last year when I came to visit. I was teaching some B1 students and there was a group of 3 brothers and they're like, we can't be here next week. I was like, where are you going? You're like, we're going to do the famadian.
Yeah, and this is the season. It's during the winter.
Yeah, that was here exactly last year. And I was like, what is that? They're like, we're going to go to the cemetery. I was like, oh, did someone die? They're like, yeah, but like a few years ago. And I was like, what? And they were like, we're going to unbury the person. And like, it took me a second to get it. I was
The
like, wow.
belief is like the ancestors are like calling them, we're cold, you need to cover us. Because the cloth, it gets old and, you know, it just dissolves. And so they have to change it because it's like, they're cold.
They're cold. They need a change of
They need a change. And
linen.
you won't be blessed unless you do that.
Okay.
That's what they believe.
Oh, interesting. So wait, there's no caskets? I know some people do caskets, but for these certain...
No, mostly here in Madagascar, we don't bury the caskets with the dead.
We just bury it in cloth.
Yeah, we just cover them and then put them inside the tomb that looks like a house.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, I guess the last one I want to talk about, actually, kind of relating to that, is a tradition here in Madagascar of visiting the dead. Like, Mamang Faurin. So it's like visiting grief. Yeah, that's a good way to, like, visiting grief. But there's a tradition of where you let the person lie for about 3 days for people to come look at them. They're not even in a casket. They just sit on a table or a bed. And people just come to visit the grief, visit
Yeah.
the death. And how long is it for? Like 3 days? They
In general, yes. It depends on what day the person died, because there are some days here where you can't bury the dead.
right, yeah, they're unlucky
Like,
days to
yeah,
bury the dead, like Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes. So
I love Tuesdays, so Tuesdays are
you
great.
have to skip that day. If the person, let's say, died on a Monday,
Yeah.
you'd have to skip that, so it still remains there for a longer time.
Right.
Or usually as well, they'll have to wait for all the family to come here.
yeah.
And that it depends. It
Yeah.
really depends.
It's a really interesting way for me to think about grief, I guess. From a psychological point of view, I think it's sort of beneficial to just come and just see death in a way. It's just like, okay, they're gone. I can see they're gone.
You
and
accept
like,
it.
no, in a way, I accept it. But then you're also surrounded by family the whole time, so that you can process that grief in a community, which I think is sort of lacking sometimes in other places that I've been. But let's not end on a sad note here. So what's one last fun fact about Madagascar that we can tell people?
Okay, I think we haven't talked about back to the Independence Day celebration.
Sure, let's do one more, yeah.
Yes, we haven't really mentioned about lanterns.
Lanterns.
If you
Okay.
notice, there's so many different kinds of lanterns they
I
sell.
have seen, yeah.
Yes. So on the day, no, not on the day, but on the night of the 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah. The children, they go outdoors and take the lanterns with them, and they sing the song Arrange na Taratasio, my. That means the lanterns, they get burnt because you put candle in it, and then when it gets really high, it just burns.
Right.
Yes.
Do they
And-
release it up into the sky?
No, we don't fly. You just carry it like that.
Carry it.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's also popular. Like, they're Chinese lanterns.
Oh, really?
They have like music with them.
In the lantern?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the traditional Malagasy lantern, it just looks like the flag. There is a red, white, and green.
Green? Yeah.
That's the traditional one.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very nice.
That's actually the real symbol of independence here, Independence Day.
It's a lantern.
Yeah, the
With
lantern.
a little kid holding a lantern.
Yes.
Ah, that's really cute. All right. How are you planning on celebrating? Any plans?
Not really, but I just want to go out during the night. Just look at the,
The 25th.
lights. Yeah, 25th. But on 26th, I don't really know.
You don't really know. It's gonna be probably packed out there.
For sure.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
It's good to be back. If the next video my hair looks different, it's because it's from a past video.
No, his hair keeps changing every week.
Yeah, every week it's just like long, short, curly, straight. You never know. All right.
See you.
I think we did good for our first after a while. So yeah, good job.